Hello guys and gals and welcome! So today I wanted to go over something simple and that is the Barbarian Expertise system. So I've been collecting information, as much information as I can collect anyway. And one of the things that I have collected is all the images for the Barbarian Expertise and what they mean. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over them today and we're going to take a look at them. So first off, we have the one-handed weapon expertise, and if you are using a one-handed axe, you get a special bonus for using a one-handed axe. Now, if you haven't actually taken a look at the Barbarian does have some interesting mechanics that where he can choose which weapon to use with each particular skill, which is pretty darn cool. So as you're playing the game and as you're, like setting up your character for specific effects, maybe you're a bleed barbarian, maybe you are a bludgeoning barbarian, maybe whatever's going on with your character, you may want to customize exactly which weapons are being used for your character. Now, they rank up to 10, so you have between 1 to 10 ranks. And for some reason, my barbarian is just running into the wall right there. I just looked at the background, I'm like, why is he running into the wall? So it has 1 to 10 ranks, and at rank 10, you get an additional bonus. So as you can see here, it says, next rank, critical strike chance against injured enemies increased to 1.5%. Rank 10 additional bonus, lucky hit. Critical strikes have up to a 55% chance to grant 6% increased attack speed for 2 seconds. Double the attack speed bonus when using 2 axes. So you get also another bonus if you're using 2 one-handed axes for your dual wielding, as opposed to like an axe and a sword or an axe and a mace or whatever's going on there. Each one has their own specific benefits, though. So as we go through each one, here is the one-handed mace. Now, the one-handed mace is a 1% chance to increase the damage to stunned monsters. Basically, it goes up by 1% each level. As you can see, I'm at rank 0, so I have 0%, and at rank 1, I get 1%, and at rank 10, I get 10%. But the rank 10 additional bonus is lucky hit up to a 10% chance to gain berserking for 1.5 seconds when you hit a stunned enemy. Double this chance when using 2 maces. So this is specifically for a character who wants to stun things. Obviously, you get more damage versus the stunned monsters, and then also you get the berserking if you're hitting a stunned monster, and you get to double that percent chance if you're using 2 maces, so you're bonking things to death. We also have one-handed swords. And this one is up to a 2% chance to gain 5 fury when hitting a crowd-controlled enemy. To double this chance when using 2 swords. Now, I know it doesn't specifically say what a crowd-controlled enemy is, but a crowd-controlled enemy is basically any enemy that is slowed. It actually encompasses a pretty large number of things. And if you keep an eye out, I am going to be putting out a video kind of going over all of the individual effects, like injured, crowd-controlled, vulnerable. What do they all mean? Like, specifically, like, I know that, like, innately, you can kind of figure what they mean, but specifically, what do they mean? And that video will be out probably tomorrow, maybe. So the sword is a 2% chance to gain 5 fury when hitting crowd-controlled enemy. Double this chance when using 2 swords, so you get a 4% chance to gain 5 fury when using 2 swords. Next rank, you get obviously another percentage, so you get 1% every level, up to 10%. And then rank 10 additional bonus is killing a crowd-controlled enemy, grants a 15% increased attack speed for 10 seconds. Double this amount for kills with 2 swords. So you get 30% increased attack speed if you're running 2 swords, and a 10% increased a 10% chance to gain 5 fury when using 2 swords, as long as you're hitting crowd-controlled enemies. So this would be specifically something for a character who's going to be putting lots of slows and various things that would be considered crowd controls. Next, we have our two-handed weapons. So we have our PoleArm. PoleArm is part of the slicing arsenal. It says here at the top, slicing arsenal. When you use a PoleArm, you gain a 2% increased chance, lucky hit chance. Lucky hit chance is an interesting effect. And as you can see here, we've got 1% each level. every level, so you get a 10% increased lucky hit chance. And then at rank 10, you get an additional 10% increased damage while healthy. So healthy is actually written down here. This is one of the things that I will be going over in my more advanced tutorial video. And as you can see, healthy characters have more than 80% life. So there's a lot of these little things in there. I don't know why they did it this way. They could have just said when you have more than 80% life, but they put when healthy. I guess it kind of cleans up the tooltips a little bit, but it also makes things a little bit more confusing because you don't know exactly what healthy is unless you learn, which is why it's good that they have the tooltip down there. Next on the list is the Two-Handed Axe expertise, and as you can see, I've got rank 2 in that. When using the Two-Handed Axe, a 3% increased damage to vulnerable enemies, and down at the bottom here, it does say vulnerable enemies take 20% increased damage. Next rank obviously increases, looks like 1.5% per level on this particular skill instead of 1% per level like the others. So we're going to go up, what is that, 1.5 times 10, so 15. It'll be 15% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. So they already take 20% increased damage, and we'll be throwing another 15% on top of that by using the axe. The rank 10 additional bonus is 10% increased critical strike chance against vulnerable enemies. That's actually a lot of extra crit, and depending on if you're built for crit, that could push you over the top into some pretty crazy numbers. Next on the list we have is the Two-Handed Mace. Two-handed mace is part of the bludgeoning arsenal, and we have, when using a two-handed mace, lucky hit up to a 4% chance to gain 2 fury when hitting an enemy, double the amount of fury gained while berserking. So this is both a fury generator and also something that you might choose specifically for a berserking character. We have next rank increases to 5%, so it is going up 1% per rank. And then rank 10 additional bonus, you deal 15% increased critical strike damage to stunned and vulnerable enemies while berserking. Berserking grants 25% increased damage and 15% increased movement speed, and the effect lasts up to 5 seconds. Vulnerable again is the 20% increased damage. So a lot going on here with the two-handed mace. Seems like it's built for a berserking character, but also a character who's making enemies vulnerable and stunned. So kind of both could work in a couple different builds. And then lastly, we have the Two-Handed Sword expertise, which is part of the slicing arsenal. When using two-handed swords, 16% of direct damage you deal is inflicted as bleeding damage over 5 seconds. So very good for a Bleedbarian. In fact, this is like my main weapon as a Bleedbarian, if you haven't seen my Bleedbarian video. Obviously, as you can see, it goes up from 16 to 18 with the next rank. I am currently at rank 8, so I was pretty close to maxing it out. So at rank 10, it's obviously going to be 20% increased bleeding damage. We also get rank 10 additional bonus. You deal 30% increased bleeding damage for 5 seconds after killing an enemy. So we get a nice little 30% damage bump and a 20% damage bump, which brings us to a nice 50% damage bump on all bleeding damage with the two-handed sword, which makes the two-handed sword just a really good choice for the Bleedbarian. Now, unfortunately, we were unable to actually activate this quest in the beta because the quest is in apparently Dry Steppes, and Dry Steppes is out of our reach. So we weren't actually able to get access to these and utilize these two-handed sword expertise. If you haven't actually taken a look at the panel, there is a panel that you can open up where you can look at these expertises, and there's also a quest that you can go and you can grab these. So obviously with these expertise, you would have to min-max. You know, that's the whole point of the arsenal system, is you would have to min-max where specifically each weapon is being utilized in your attack spread. You know, obviously with this particular one, the two-handed sword, you would want this for your bleeding attacks. But if you did have something else that wasn't doing bleeding damage, like maybe something that was stunning, it seems like the maces are absolutely amazing for stunners. There's also quite a few of these which are very, very good for berserking or for gaining berserking status. And so like it comes into play where you're going to have to take a little bit of time and think about which weapons you want to use with which skills. And once you get that all set up, you should have your character min-maxed nicely. I had a lot of fun on the Barbarian, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we're just going over the arsenal system, the expertise system on the Barbarian. And as always, keep watching.